Hello everyone. Hope you're doing well. I am here today to review a new palette to me. Actually, I've never used this company before, but I've heard things and very positive things about the Troll palette. Yes, it is Pur Cosmetics, and a lot of people really love the Troll palette, and they recently came out with the My Little Pony collection, and at this time I only picked up the eyeshadow palette. I also did pick up the Troll palette, and it's been out I think for over a year, and I'm gonna go ahead and use that and then review it as well because I think it's kind of part of their permanent collection now, but don't quote me on that. But it's been there for over a year, so it was limited edition. I think it probably would have gone by now, but again, don't quote me on that because it'll probably be wrong and then So yes, so the one that I'm reviewing today is the Pur Cosmetics My Little Pony movie. So yes, this makes me laugh, and here's why. In my lifetime, I never thought I would own anything My Little Pony. Not that I'm against My Little Pony, but growing up, I was a huge tomboy. So I would never ask for anything like this, and I had some friends who had it, and I was like, what are we gonna do with this? Because I was such a tomboy. I was usually asking for like a bike or video games, and I never got the bike and I rarely got the video games. I know, but that's usually what I'd go for, or for something really artistic like paints or pencils or things like that. So I was never really into the girly type things, so it kind of made me laugh. I know. I was such a tomboy, and I still kind of am, but what are you gonna do? And so it's just kind of funny that here it is, and I'm very happy to be reviewing it. If my friends could see me now. So anyway, yes, with the name My Little Pony, you would expect to see a colorful palette, and it does not disappoint. Yes, as you can see, it is quite colorful. But what I like about it too is that there's also a few very usable neutral shades, and so that's what makes this palette great, is that you got those bold colors, but then you have some neutrals to kind of calm it down. So it's very versatile in that way. So you get the 16 shadows. There are 6. It looks like 6 shimmer shades, and the rest are matte. So, it's again very versatile because you have the different colors. What also works about it is that looking at it, it's very seasonal. So you could use this year round. You really could. Now, some people don't care. They're like, I wear whatever I want when I want. And you are awesome, my friend. But for me, I do tend to follow the rules a little bit with the seasons, especially in New York City because it gets so dark and cold. So I will go with more seasonal items, but you have some great colors for fall, you have some darker colors for winter, and of course it's an explosion of summer and spring on this palette, but you could use it year round. So what I'm going to do next is show you how I got this eye look with this palette, and then we will continue with the review and swatches. So here are the colors. Really easy to make a bright look and also a more docile look, so don't be intimidated. But I'm going to start with the white here. You can see it goes on pretty darn well. I always start with the lighter shade at first just because I think that it kind of helps, set the rest of the eye, especially if you have oily skin like me. So next what I'm going to do is go in with a little bit of this. These are 2 of the matte shades, and a little bit of the brighter one to put into the crease. Okay, so now I want to go in with this purple matte. I'm just hankering for a little bit of bright colors today, and I'm hoping this purple pink combo will do it. Now I'm going to go back in and blend it in a little bit more, the purple into the pink. So what I'm doing here is going in with a matte shade to put in a little pink as well on the lid. But why I'm doing this is I'm putting the matte first and then putting the shimmer on because I feel like it amplifies the shimmer a little bit more if I do it that way. And I feel like the best way to do it is to actually do it with the fingers. Now what I'm going to do is go back in with the purple and add a little bit more into the corner V and then bring it down under the eye. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and finish up the eye look, and then I'm going to come back, swatch these, and give you my final review on this product. So this is my finished eye look. You know, I really like it. I think it came together quite well. I can go about my day-to-day things, and that's what I like about this palette is you can go for a little bit less bold look with it, but still very colorful like this, but very docile. But you can also take this palette to the other extreme and create a really bold eye look as well, which I think is really quite the charm with this palette. It's a really good palette in that respect, that you can take it to any kind of spectrum and make it very wearable. So what I'm going to do is I am going to swatch these. What I do want to say before I swatch them, because I swatched them the first day when I got them before I used them, I do want to let you know that these do not necessarily swatch that well. What I will say is that they work a lot better on the eye, but I will get back to that. So let me swatch these and then I will continue that thought. Okay, so what I do is I swirl 3 times a piece and then go ahead and put them on the arm. That's just the way I like to do it. I want to show you the method to my madness. So that is the top row right across here. And there it is. Next, there is the second row, just a little bit more of the neutrals and then the crazy pink. There you go. Yeah, that pink is not for the faint of heart. So if that is you, watch out because it is really bright. And that is the one right there, second row. So, like most bright pinks, just so you know, and probably along with the red, it does have a little bit of staining and it is still on my finger. So just expect that. Use a primer. You're going to be all good. So on to the third row, which is going into a little bit more of the dynamic colors. So as you can see, that pink is not necessarily coming up, and that is the shimmer as much as I would like. I'm also wearing that shimmer on my eyelid. Takes a little bit to build up, but I will get more into that. And the last row. There we go. I'll put a little bit more of that brown shade at the bottom there. Put a little bit more of that, and then the one next to it, just so you can see it a little bit. You see sometimes it looks like it takes a little bit longer to build up, and that is slightly the case with these when you're swatching them. So what I want to do is touch back after showing the swatches of how these work. And I personally feel that they don't swatch that well. They really don't. You really have to use them to see the true magic of the product. So they really do work a lot better on the eye. What I will say is that the shimmer shades, especially this pink, are a little bit tricky. And here's the thing. I don't necessarily think that the shimmer shades were meant to knock your socks off. I really don't. I think they're not very opaque. So they take a little bit of time to build up. In fact, I mean, I'll go ahead and show them again. These are some of them here. They're actually pretty grainy, and I'm going to just flat out say that they, and normally I clean my finger in between, but since I already swatched them, I'm not going to do that here. But the blue and the green do a lot better. As you can see, they show up quite well. Even the yellow at the top shows up quite well. But the more neutral ones, I had a harder time getting to show up. So again, this one and the green and the blue show up quite well. They do, you know, I'm not going to complain. They're right there, boom, you can see them. But the two browns and then the pink, they're not showing up quite as well as I would like. The thing also is I did use this pink a few times, and you really do have to build it up. So you're continually building up, building up, building up. This one here, which is the brown, actually is quite smooth. The rest of them are a little bit grainy, the shimmers, but I find that this one is almost like a satin, and that's this little guy here. I feel like it's almost more of a satin consistency, and even though it does show up okay, it still is for a kind of lighter look, but they do have kind of a grainier consistency. What I do feel helps to keep these guys on is a sort of setting spray. It does help afterwards. Putting it onto a brush and then using a flat brush and trying to put them on your lid didn't help the way that I wanted, so I used a great primer. Well, I used a primer. I mean, a great one. I used a primer, and then I went ahead and put these onto the eye. I feel like they definitely go better on the finger. If you try to use a brush, the brush won't pick up the pigment as well with these shimmers as I would like. So then I would put it onto my eye. You'd really have to build, especially with some of the lighter colors and the neutrals. And then at the end, just spray the eye a little bit with setting spray to keep it there. And I did feel that the shimmer did stay there, but these aren't like, wow, I'm gonna blind you kind of shimmers. These are not. They're very docile shimmers. Like I said, it does have a little bit of a grainier consistency that I really hadn't felt before in a shadow, so that was kind of interesting. It didn't take away from the look of it or the way that it went on, but it does have a grainier feel, except for this guy here. I feel like the mattes did a lot better in that they would definitely build up if you'd use a brush. They would just easily go on, no issue. They actually went on quite well. Now, some of the brighter ones, like the purple, I thought would be a little bit crazy but to put on, but actually it goes on quite nicely, and a lot, you know, it looks a lot more pigmented in the palette, but then when you put it on, especially on a brush, you can definitely build it up, but it really isn't that crazy. I really thought it would be, and it goes on quite nicely and blends really well. So that's what I'm using on my lid, along with a couple of the pink tones, this one and this one in the crease as well. Now, I was not going for an overly bold look. That's not what I wanted to go for today, but you definitely could with this. And I think that that's what works with this purple is if you're a little bit intimidated by color, there's no reason to be. The one thing that I did find with the purple is that sometimes it did tend to wear away if I worked it too much. So, you know, just be wary of that. Go in there. You can definitely pack your brush with this, with the purple, and go in there, and it's going to be easy to blend out. And that's kind of the way I would do it. You know, usually I would go in there with my brush and tap it. You don't even need to do that with this purple. You can just go in there and spread it out, and it will definitely work. I do feel the red and the pink definitely are a little bit more bold, and so you're going to want to go in with them a little bit more cautiously and definitely tap your brush along with the yellow, the pink, the red, and even the green. The green is nicely pigmented and, you know, definitely blendable though. So it's kind of like the purple, you know, you can go in there with it and it will blend really nicely. So you don't have to worry about making a mistake. Like with some really pigmented shadows, you'll go in there and fixing it is going to be really difficult. So you want to build, build, build. With these, with the exception of the red and the pink, I really don't feel like you have to do that. With the purple and the green, you know, you can go in there and then just make sure that you don't overly do it, because if you use a brush too much, they will start to disappear. So what do I personally think of this palette? You know, I actually really like it. There are some flaws to it, yes, but even with the flaws, I really do think it is a good palette. And I think this is the type of palette that would work well for somebody who's new to makeup or somebody who's more new to bright colors. If you're new to bright colors, this is for you. For the most part, it's not overly crazy pigmented. It's not. And the thing is, it's very blendable. And that's what I liked about these, is that the formula is so blendable. It really is. And what I liked about it is the blendability, but there's hardly any fallout. There is no fallout in these, yet they're really powdery, but not an overly powdery way, and they are so blendable, which is just a really nice combination. So it's going to last you a long time, and I've used some of these colors and you can barely see that I've gone into it. There's a nice payoff and there's no fallout, which I think is just fantastic. You don't always see that. But what I will say is you can create a really bold look with these, but what I do want to say is I think because of the way that it blends out, that this would be a very nice palette for somebody who really is afraid of color and is like, can I do this? Can I pull this off? I don't know. You can. I swear you can. With this palette, you definitely can because of the blendability. And especially with the shimmers, they are a little bit more sheer on the arm. So it's not going to be overwhelming. So it's really nice to add a pop of color and then add some of these neutral elements, and it's just going to make it extremely wearable. So this is perfect for a beginner. This is perfect for somebody who wants to experiment in color and not be overwhelmed or have to fix the eye over and over because there's too much pigment. So I really think this is a beginner user-friendly palette. I also think somebody with a little bit more skill and who wants a bolder look would really enjoy this. I really do. I am going to be honest with you. I think if you are more advanced or you're somebody who really loves a bold eye color, your best bet would probably be to go to a palette that has a little bit more pigment. Something like the Sephora editorial palette that was just released. Those things are wholly pigment. They really are. And I think maybe a little bit intimidating and pigmented for somebody who's more of a beginner. I mean, you could definitely make it work, but I think that you may enjoy that palette a little bit more. These did run $29 for this palette for the 16 shadows. Again, if you really are into bold colors, for a little bit more, I mean, there's 16 here. You got 68 eyeshadows in the Sephora editorial palette, so it may be a little bit more bang for your buck than this, but again, that just may be too many shadows for some people, or if you're a beginner, that just may be too bold, and this is a nice place to start. And also what I like about it is that editorial palette is heavy, so getting it around is going to go, you're going to be going, damn. It's just heavy. It's solid. It really is. Now, this is very small. So you could definitely put this into your purse, even a small purse. This is going to go for the weekend. Yeah, you may not want a really bright eye color, but again, there's the neutrals, so you can make it extremely wearable. Even the pink, if you go into the light hand, especially for spring or summer, you just add that into the crease and a little bit of the white at the top. And this here across the lid, it's just such an easy, pretty look. You just have to go in with a light touch because the red and pink are the exceptions. They're very, very bold. So it's very light, very portable. I really love it. The formula. Like I said, not a lot of fallout. It is powdery. I did find it to be powdery, but in a good way. And the thing that I've never used these before, and everybody who watches my channel, who's subscribed or seen a few of the videos knows I'm an oily skinned girl. Nothing lasts on my lids, even when I prime them and prep them the way that I usually do, and these surprisingly did. I am shocked by the formula. I'm going to be honest, they're a little bit drying. When I was putting them on, I did notice that these shadows are a little bit drying, but if you prep your eye with some moisture, first up, just go ahead and put some moisturizer and then prep your eye. And some people already do that. I don't, because I get natural moisture from the nature of my skin. But you're going to be okay, and even then the moisture is not going to cut through these guys. This was some amazing wear time. It really was amazing. I was shocked at how long it lasted. By the end of the day, it had barely moved. It really looked almost identical to what it was when I left my apartment, and I was like, wow. I was shocked and pleasantly shocked. The wear time on these is amazing. Again, if I really think about it, it is a little bit drying. So if you have drier lids, this may be a little bit harder of a sell for you. I don't know how you would deal with this formula unless you really moisturized your eye and then prepped it and then use a moisturizing setting spray, and you should be okay. But for you oily skin girls out there, Hallelujah. It really is that great. These things lasted all day. They really did. So right there, I was a believer. I will say they do have coupons, like if you're a first time person signing up, which I was. And so I ended up getting 20% off, which made these even a better deal. So go look and see if you can pick up that as a first time signer upper, and you'll even get more of a discount on this, making it even more affordable. So yes, I think this is a great palette. I really do. Just for the formula alone, as an oily skin girl, that gives it a huge thumbs up. I like how diverse it is. You can use all of these colors through all the seasons. Yes, the payoff may not be exactly what you expect sometimes, so it is a little bit more docile of a color palette, but you can definitely build them up, or you can keep them extremely wearable, like I am now going with the pink and purple look. It's extremely wearable. I could wear this almost anywhere and it would be completely accepted. Nobody would look twice. It's just really that good. So I love it. I think it's a great palette. Yes. So big thumbs up. I'm excited to try the Troll palette. And I'll let you know how that goes next, because that one's a little bit more neutral tone and it's perfect for heading into fall, which is coming up, which makes me sad because I'm such a summer girl, but that's okay. Life is about change. So yes, that is my review today. Let me know if you've used any of these before, because Pure was kind of new to me and I'm curious how other people have felt about it. And until next time, have a fabulous day. Bye.